They were a group of thieves who had just been caught. The owner of the estate sprayed a bottle of gasoline all over them. Then she pulled out a sharp knife. The thieves thought they were dead for sure. But in the next second, she cut the ropes binding their hands. Then she turned around, got in her car, and drove away. Just as they were wondering what was going on, a group of people appeared in the distance, charging straight toward them. And beside them were more than a dozen hunting dogs. It looked like they were hunting something.
Run!
Only then did they finally understand. The reason the lady of the house had sprayed gasoline on them was to make it easier for the dogs to track their scent. This was a hunting game, and they were the prey. Terrified, the thieves had no choice but to run for their lives. But there was no way they could outrun the dogs. Luckily, a small river appeared up ahead. Without hesitation, all of them jumped into the water. The dogs followed right after them, leaping into the river to continue the chase. On the riverbank, the hunters quietly watched everything unfold. They were clearly enjoying the thrill of controlling life and death. Seeing that the hunters hadn't followed them into the water, the thieves even shouted a few curses back at them. Then they quickly turned and ran. When they reached a patch of tall grass, the wooden stick in one thief's hand was suddenly snapped in half by a trap. He looked down and realized there was a massive animal trap hidden on the ground. If anyone stepped into that thing, even if they didn't die, they would be badly injured. The thief quickly tossed it aside, but then his companions noticed the entire area was covered with the same traps. Clearly, they had stumbled into a trap field prepared by the hunters in advance. As they carefully moved forward, a group of hunters came charging from behind on horseback. The four of them had no time to think. Once again, they ran for their lives. They finally made it to the edge of the estate. In front of them was a brick wall. They used every bit of strength they had to climb up. The dogs were getting closer and closer, and at last, they managed to reach the top, but George accidentally slipped and fell. Worse still, he landed right on one of the animal traps below. Seeing this, his teammates immediately jumped down from the wall. The two men pulled the trap open with all their strength, and finally freed the unlucky George. Then they helped him up and lifted him back onto the wall. But by then, the hunting dogs had already caught up from behind. Just as Jack, who was last in line, tried to climb up, one of the dogs bit into his ankle. Then another dog sank its teeth into his thigh. Unable to endure the unbearable pain, Jack was dragged back down to the bottom of the wall. As his screams echoed through the air, the three survivors lost one of their best friends. After escaping the estate, the three of them lost their way. Just when they had no idea which direction to run, the sound of a car engine suddenly came from nearby. That gave them an idea. When the estate's butler drove over, he saw what looked like a woman's corpse lying in the middle of the road. Out of curiosity, he quickly got out of the car to check. But the moment he approached the woman, her eyes suddenly snapped open. He had fallen right into the trap the three of them had set. After subduing the butler, they rushed into the car, ready to drive away. But then they realized the keys weren't inside. At that moment, the butler got back on his feet. The three had no choice but to turn and flee into the forest. But soon, the barking of hunting dogs came from not